Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Manic Mondays. I'm your host, CJ Robles. Um, Hello, how's everybody doing? Let's get started today with the interactive vlog. Tonight's guest is a very important guest to this show and to the network, so I don't want to keep him waiting too long in the green room. But I do want to talk about this past week and movies and how's everybody doing. Just want to check in on people. This is the show on the network where we hang out. We just kind of talk a little bit and do a little self check, see how we're doing, see what great movies are out there, see what great events are going on. How we can grow. As I'm always trying to see just something better. I'm super busy lately, and it's been to the point now where have a schedule, and I'm waking up, with a purpose, way more than with the purpose I had before, and it's really like my escape of watching movies. I don't really have time right now for that, but I found another alternative is just been writing movies, and I've been writing more sketch comedy right now because I've been doing a lot of work at the theater, and just being around the theater really, I don't know, it kind of brings it out of me. It opens something to me. Working at the theater and being the technician for the shows for almost a year now, it like picks at you, just kind of picks at you. You kind of just are like, oh, I can do a lot of this. I like this. I'm seeing what they're doing. I'm learning, and the more I focus on the whole big piece of the information, of the story that we're doing, or like stand up. I've been watching a lot of stand up lately, and it is picking at me. And I've been writing jokes. Now I don't have any jokes. I'm not going to share my jokes right now because they're very horrible. But eventually, maybe in a week or two, I'll share my jokes because they're just. I think at a time when everybody's kind of like at each other's throats and everybody's online just like attacking each other. I'm like, what can we do? Like, I don't really want to be online as much as already been on it. The much of time has already spent. But what can we do? And I really think like me just trying to just challenge myself into writing a joke, and trying to see if I can make people laugh with that joke. And that's kind of where I have kind of materialized kind of like how my day goes. This is Saturday, and I just got the video and I just put it together. So I'm gonna show a little clip of how my day went. So let's see how this went on Saturday. I just want to show a little bit. I have a lot more footage, but I just kind of trying to do a little bit more glimpses like that of kind of how kind of like the process of I started like I started way too early. Yeah, I was at work at like 6 in the morning, but I finished work, and then I was just kind of relaxing a little bit, and started working on other things I had to do. And I'm also in class right now. I'm taking classes at school, and learning to do homework on the weekends, which is I don't like. But who does, right? But I learned to do that, and then going to the theater, and seeing all of that, like all of the energy that a theater has to bring, and then with stand ups and whatnot. Like I really enjoy it, and I think it's just the fact that it's like I said, it's a challenge, and I for myself, like challenging myself is something that I like doing. But I'm leading up to all this because last Tuesday something happened organically on its own, and I wanted to share it with everybody because it made me really proud and really happy. I don't know if the audio is gonna go in through this because I haven't figured this out yet. But check out if you can just kind of see what's gonna happen is I took my son to our improv show or I'm taking a show tomorrow and I have to go into the rehearsal. So I took my son to the rehearsal and he was sitting down and the improvers were the improv actors and sketch the whole teams are getting ready and they're doing their warm ups and he started to like kind of it was kind of like I was saying when me is calling me and he started like joking around. Well, the actors asked him to join and I was like, "What?" He just go and he just like nothing. He just joined in. So I was gonna share a little bit about it, share this with you, but I don't know if the audio. The audio is the best part, but let's see if we can get it going. Let's see. So there you go. That was a video of my son doing warm ups with oh there's no audio. Yeah, sorry Joe. I don't know why the audio is not there, but I got to work on that. But I did want to say that if you can see what my son was doing, he was like leading the improv troupe. So it just kind of it made me really happy and proud that I was like, good, he's just kind of getting in there and going with it, and the actors are going with him. So that kind of with me that shows me that like I'm like, hey, I'm an actor, and it clearly shows maybe my kid is an actor as well, and I see talent at a young age. So as that being said, tonight's special guest is a really good, really like a friend I've never met, but a friend that I've got to know over time with the last year. He's a very talented. As you can see here, very look at the bottom. This is I couldn't. This is just some stuff I can put because director, content creator, actor, graphic designer, musician does not describe Scott Meaney as much as he really is. He has like he did do a lot of things. So I'm gonna bring on my guests and everybody. Without further ado, I want to welcome Scott Meaney to the show. Welcome to my Manic Monday, Scott.
Hey, what's up, CJ? How you doing?
Hey man, how's it going, man? Sorry about the audio. I was kind of I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was cute, man. That was adorable.
Yeah, so I see that he's like that, and it kind of gets me thinking. I'm like, I think Scott was kind of one of
Yeah,
these young kids that were really into just like everything, huh?
yeah. I was a really like hyper kid, and I was always looking for an audience. I was doing impressions, jumping around, dancing. And I had a huge fear of the stage. I mean, like when I was a little kid, like I remember going to like nursery school graduations and like crying my eyes out, not wanting to get on stage and stuff. But yeah, I had great parents growing up, so basically, they just sort of kind of worked with me, and I mean, some tough love and some just sort of talks and stuff, and I just kind of found a way to sort of kind of love it, I guess, and sort of just find a way to kind of shut off. So, and that's really why I've even made it this far, is because like there's two sides to me. There's sort of the personality that people know, and then there's the personality that you can talk to like for like 3-4 hours at night.
Yeah.
And they're different. So it's just about like kind of learning how to shut certain parts down and move forward. But when I was a kid, you're fearless at a certain point, even if you have an illness or whatever. but eventually it creeps in, and you just have to find a way to work with that. But yeah, it's I was a crazy zany kid.
Man, that's a long time ago. Here, got some comments here. Libby McDermott, what's up? And we got Joe Rizzi, woo, my Mac Mondayz, some awesome guest tonight. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Joe, sorry about the no audio, everybody. Work on that. Libby, thank you. My son's cute. Brandon E. Brooks, what's up, CJ? That video with your son was awesome. Thank you. And then Brandon E. Brooks, welcome, not dead Scott. That's
yeah, exactly.
We got the great Scots on this network. So basically, as the show's starting to form itself more and more, I'm calling this like my interactive vlog only because it's like it's kind of want to take more of a glimpse of my life or the week prior to the episode and just kind of talk about it or just kind of just whatever, just where movies and mental health can meet. And it was when we had our first like Indie Escape meeting. Like you're the one that was like when I said I have My Manic Movies, which has My Manic Mondayz, and you right away were like, that's your card.
Yeah.
Focus on that. And I without even me like knowing like that I needed to have that focus, like you already like planted that little seed for me, which kind of helped me out a lot. Before I could even like you really understand, because this is like it's a work in progress. People are seeing me stumble in real time, but there'll be a point where you keep going. And I know
this is your 13th show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And man, I gotta say, there's certain times when I even have my other show, the CJ Live. And I say something and like I don't know where you just like come in, drop some wisdom or like the grit attitude that I love about you. Like it's like you can do it for cheap. How much is your money? How much you want to do for your movie for? You could do it. Just do it.
Well, because the thing is, we lost. I mean, and talking about films and stuff like that, because that's really where I've been in the past year. Films were really expensive when I was a kid to make. Okay, like. And now you can make a film in your pocket with a camera, which means that you really just need to know a bunch of people that know how to do shit, And if you meet a bunch of people who know how to do shit, you're kind to them. They're talented. You're talented. You all sort of play in a sandbox together, and you just build something, and then you see where it goes from there. There's just a different way, I think, of making films now. I think the problem right now is that we've lost a lot of the independent fever. As in, independents were sort of taken over and turned into sort of Hollywood movies. They were just sort of, there's this company that's owned by this company and they're going to put out this film and, but I don't know. I think that there's just a lot of that thirst for it is gone. So I think that what happens is you wind up with a lot of kids that are trying to make movies that are way too big.
Yeah.
Or, the number one thing I learned when I was younger was, stay within your budget. But that doesn't mean you have to make something subpar. It just means that you have to be more creative about it. Like the film we just finished, it's insane and it's all production value that was hand done, and so with you, when you were talking about making that film and with the video store and stuff, because you were getting a location, I think was the idea. And I was just like, dude, just what you can do it for $50. It's just don't settle. Don't go for the actor that's your friend. Don't go for I mean, if the actor who's your friend is great, yeah, take the actor that's your friend. But also realize that like you're going to be spending a lot of time and your money on this. So maybe hurting your friend's feeling for not getting a lead this one time, is the thing to do. So there's a lot to navigate with very little direction nowadays, because film school teaches you technique, it teaches you the mechanics, but film school's, I went to art school, and art school, again, I'm a big fan of learning process, but not doing other people's process. I like to know process so that I can kind of make my own, or, like you always have to have room. And when you tell somebody this is how it's done, that's how they do it. There's no wiggle room. So with you, I thought we were having this conversation where it was like, well, I want to do this, and this is my idea. What do you think I should do? And it was just like, dude, just do it. Just do it. Like with this show, it was about, you have all these ideas, but the thing is that like, just keep carving that stone until you find the sculpture inside, because there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end to everything. I don't know. That answer your question?
Yeah. That's good. That was on the quiz. That's gonna be on the quiz. Great. Let's see. David Madison done two cool dudes. Thanks, Dave.
Hey,
Appreciate
Dave.
it.
Dave's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's how I got into all this with the End of the Night guys. Like just beginning to talk to them, and then like I noticed like it's like YouTube when you're commenting on you get to see who comments and what kind of wisdom people bring, or just experience, or just topics they bring in. And yours were always like, oh, that's a good one. Damn, I never thought about it like that. Where's he getting all this from? And it's just it's such a like a delight to really
mental illness, my friend.
That's what we're here. We're unwinding. We're getting the screws off a little bit.
The funny comes with a whole lot of sad. The smart comes with a whole lot of stupid.
I need the balance. I really need the balance. You know, I went when I went back home for the holidays. I had a friend tell me, "Oh, She looked at me and she goes, "I want your happiness," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's a balance. I'm also really depressed, so
Yeah.
you gotta like."
There's days where and people who follow me on Facebook know this fucking shit, man. There are days where it's just like I know people are like, "Is this guy fucking suicidal?" But I'm not. I'm not in a good mood a lot of the times. But there's things that just happen, and I just burned a year. Like I shouldn't say burn. That's a hard way to put it. But it felt like burning. We did a year on a film that was during a pandemic, and it was not the easiest film in the world to do. And we had people, so it was so stressed out, and you're in this COVID haze, and there's nobody around. So I'm coming home to an empty place. I have nobody to unload my shit onto, but my fucking dog. It's just, I don't know. It becomes this thing, but I don't know, man. Whatever.
Yeah, and just the unwinding part of all this, but also doing during the pandemic, you're literally doing a movie in multiple locations where no one is really in the same room, and somehow no one knows this. You did it all in your head. It's insane. I don't know. You just call this person, do this, get along with this person, y'all do it, and then it's like the pieces, the Pangea starts to get back to forming itself, and I'm like,
well, no. If you want, I can explain it. Which was, we did this. For people who don't know, we did this holiday special called the Happy Horror Holiday Spectacular. All right, and it's basically a takeoff on old 80s and 70s network television specials. But we kind of have a spin to it, and the idea was, I was trying to come up with something to do for an art gallery show, and then the pandemic hit, and I came up with the idea of a video one where I bumped into celebrity friends, and I was like, and then that was kind of corny and tacky, so it just, then I thought Andy Kaufman's Christmas special. I want to do something like that because I was a huge Kaufman fan. Me and my dad used to watch Kaufman when I was a kid, so I was like, I'm going to do that, and then that just evolved, and one of my great friends, Thomas, who became a writer. With me, we kind of linked up, having never worked before again. I mean, I think the first thing I typed to him was, "Are you funny?" And I knew I've seen him. He's a performer. He's an amazing poet, and he's funny in his poetry too. He's got a fire, a burn inside of him, and he can take himself super seriously and not seriously, and within a change of a breath, But we linked up, and it became this thing that I had done a movie called The Puppet Apocalypse about a decade ago. When we
Scott Schiaffo, right?
Schiaffo, yeah, we were hanging out with the comic book man and all that stuff, and we were talking, I think, to Mike Zapsik, and I forget how it came up. Oh, because they were doing Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, and they wanted Tell 'em Steve Dave puppets for the opening for when they opened up for Kevin Smith, and I did that, and I think we were in the stash with Mike Zapsik, and we were just talking about making a short film about puppets that when they touch you, you become a puppet, sort of Invasion of the Body Snatcher style. But then we were doing this Christmas special. Fast forward to now, we're doing this Christmas special, and we were like, what are we going to do? And I don't really like being on camera. I don't mind it, but if it's a performance, I'm never going to watch it. I'm not going to watch this because I just don't want to dissect myself. Not because it's not a show. I just don't want to see myself. I'm a delicate flower, as you can tell. But I don't know. Where was I? I'm all over the fuck. Okay, yeah. So basically, we just we went on puppets because it's a really easy way to avatar yourself, and it's just a tough movie because first of all, it was supposed to come out a year before it did. Yeah, there we go. There's my puppet and Fang the vampire. it was supposed to come out a year before it did. We were supposed to shoot this in like write and shoot in like 3 to 4 months. You know, it didn't work out very well because COVID really hit hardcore. So we decided to pull it off, and then we just kind of went time, you know, day by day. But the thing that people don't realize, I guess, the weirdest thing about this film is that nobody was in a room together until the last 4 days of production, really, when we shot. The way it basically worked was I would get on, we'd get into a group Facebook meeting, you know, or a Zoom meeting, and we would just basically do some process of how to do puppets and talk through things. Me and Thomas wrote the whole thing online, you know, and then we had Libby McDermott just popped in, and Matt Staley, they're up in Pennsylvania, and they had done this amazing film called Darkness Waits that I driven Schiaffo to a premiere to, and we became friends. And I remember saying to Thomas, I was like, if we get these two, this thing's gonna be amazing, you know, because it's just such a beautifully shot film, you know. So everyone just sort of came together, but then they're in Pennsylvania. So the way it worked was we were going to try to have 2 rehearsals before, and we did get one in here, one in there, but Matt and Libby really couldn't. So they were like watching on an iPad at the back of the studio, you know, and then really they came down that morning. They were here because they stayed at my place. They were here for an hour. We jumped in the cars, and then we drove over. He hooked up his camera, boom, 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 shot. And 4 days later, we had a film.
Yeah.
And it's just because we thought outside the box. It was just like, when you see the thing, it is so bonkers in general, you know, but it's cohesive. So
yeah. No, that's the crazy thing. Like I was saying, like it's like all these strings have to be pulled to make this piece, and you did it. Also, Thomas is here, and he said, "Very delicate punk flower."
Yes, I am.
So aren't we all? I found an emo band that I used to listen to back in the early 2000s. I totally forgot about them. I started listening to them again the last 2 days. I've been feeling it. Brandon E. Brooks. I love the concept. Scott, you should make that Invasion of the Puppet Snatchers. You know, so that being said, like I wanted to ask you, like, what's your manic media? What's your go-to right now? What are you because you can do so many things. Like, I mean, you can graphic design, you can draw, you can write, you can act, you can do the musician. Yeah, so what is it right now where you're focusing on? Like, that's kind of just, we're not really like work wise or just commission wise, but like when you want to unwind, what's helping you out right now?
Oh, records, man. It's always music. Listen, I'm a huge I mean, like I feel like I've seen everything on planet Earth. Like, you know, I'm just a huge like movie nerd. I wanted to do it since I was. But just a really funny story. Just I wanted to get into film. I realized when I was in junior high school because I actually had an English teacher named Mr. Robles, who made us read the screenplay to High Noon and then watch it. It was the first time I saw how that shit fucking happened. You know, so it's just a funny thing I actually wanted to tell you. It's just funny you have that last name.
That's cool. Yeah.
What were you saying before I rudely interrupted you?
No, you said that you listened to that. I was asking you your music, and you're like, because I was just like, what are you doing right now? Just and you said listening to records, man. Like,
listening to records, playing music, chilling out. You know, I didn't. You know, I was doing music for years and years, decades, and then you know, a friend of mine passed away that I was doing it with for a really long time. Hit really fucking hard, kind of like one of my BFFs. I just didn't touch music for a decade, man. I was just like, it just didn't feel right, you know, because I was sick and tired of being in bands because 4 people agreeing is much harder than 2 people agreeing. Yeah. You know, and my stuff is so kind of weird and bizarre. So, but I hadn't touched it. And the Happy Horror Holiday actually has those 3 songs were the first 3 songs I had written in a decade. You know, so, but yeah, so right, you know, music, listen, records I like because records are, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, why records this? I like the ritual of a record. I like that I can't skip. I like that I have to get up and flip it. I like that it's something to do. I mean, there's warmth and sound. I find that negligible. Negligible. Yeah, you know, but depending on the amps, but I can nerd out on that stuff too. But music has really been the thing. I like what's really funny about me, I guess, is that I like fast music that's very loud, and that's what relaxes me. You know, but I like melody. I don't want screaming and shit unless it's good screaming. But
yeah, the song I chose for the intro was I used to go into those Pod Fives. You purchase it and. I was like, what's a $5 song? And I just put The Cure for some reason. I was just like, yeah, I put The Cure, and that song popped up, and I was like, this is kind of like his pace, like kind of what he
I
reminded
love
me
the
of.
rock, man. Cure, fucking Smiths, Morrissey, fucking Johnny Marr, fucking holy shit. Like, I mean, there's a ton of I have a niche, I guess. Like I like 77 punk rock and like that emo new wave. But it goes all over. The one I have the hardest time with is country, but I mean I'll listen to Johnny Cash, some Conway Twitty, some Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
But in general, it's loud, fast, and something that kind of shuts the world out. I prefer to choose the chaos as opposed to have the chaos thrust upon me.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me pick. We got here. Matt Staley said niche
Oh,
power.
yeah, that's why every morning before we went to the shoot, I'm obsessed with knishes, and so I always had like these packs of knishes. So every morning we would just throw knishes in my toaster before we would drive over to the studio, me, Matt, and Libby, and have our delicious knishes. Are amazing. If you haven't had knishes, I'm from New York, so like it's just like a thing that's on every corner.
Is it like a donut kind of thing? Or
No, it is. It's mashed potatoes you can eat with your hands. That's the best way to describe this. It's a crispy golden shell, okay, and on the interior is like mashed potatoes with pepper. And me, Matt, and Libby are all vegan, so we could eat it because they're vegan. So it's like there's no like milk in the mash. It's just like a pureed mashed potato fried in this crispy shell, and you just toaster oven that stuff, man, and it is the way to start your morning. It's the worst thing I eat, but
hey, get you going. Yeah, I have to film fast is what I like to call. I can't eat on filming days because as soon as I eat, it just does something to me where I'm like I lose focus or.
On the Happy Horror Holiday, we had that catered for 4 days, man. I wanted to eat, man. That shit's a party. You know what I'm saying? Like we all just hung out and we did it out of a charity, this place called Where to Turn. We had some businesses sort of donate food, some stuff we paid for. And we had like at the front of the hangar, like where the door was, we had like a little craft service place. We would just hit for lunch because it's a good thing, man. Fuel up, get your energy, get everyone cohesive.
Yeah.
Lunch together, connect. Meals I think are very important at movie time. I work for a bunch of companies, and I'll tell you this right now: a lot of the connecting I did, and a lot of the I guess friendships and creativity. It's lunch, it's meals, it's walking to get a soda. It's I mean, I was a TA, and then I worked on for Trauma, man, and like there were people from all around the world working there, man, and so I have best friends for life that are all around the world. That I remember, just walking in Hell's Kitchen with this kid, and he was like, "Oh, let's go get a pop." That's just weird, man, because I'm from New York, but he was from Canada. But it's just I was like in my 20s back then, and it's weird, but those little eating, it's just ritualistic, and we all sort of tend to connect over meals. So I just think it's a good habit to get into because you think straighter and you
yeah. And that's the they a lot of people tell me that, but for some I like to earn it. I like to be like, come on, I want to be starving by the end of the day, so I know I earned what I'm about to eat.
I know what you mean, man. I used to do that. It's the reward mentality sort of thing, where it's just like I'll get it when I deserve it, but it's not as harsh as that. You're just like, well, I'll get there, and it'll be like this treat, like you made it and you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always burn out before that, man. I used to do that when I was younger, and I'll tell you this right now: I'm a moody bitch in general, and like. If I don't got my condition in the morning, you know what I'm
saying? Let's see. So Greg Gonzalez says music is soothing to the soul, and a record is one of the best ways to listen to it. Yeah. And it says Dave Madison says I'm a Bing Crosby guy.
Hey man, come on, classic. You can't,
And Thomas, I on the other hand prefer tons of screaming.
He does actually prefer tons of. I like a lot of the screaming that he likes too. Like I'm talking about like screamo, like late 2000s, like really like kind of
Oh, I was screamoing earlier, yeah.
Like in Happy Horror Holiday, my puppet wears a Misfits shirt because that's like one of my all-time favorite bands, and Thomas's favorite band is the Melvins, so he wears a Melvin shirt. So if you're familiar with the Melvins?
The Melvins, yes.
They're awesome.
Oh yeah. Is he Greg the Rock? What's up, Greg? And then I guess it says round or square. I guess the Knish or.
It depends on where you get them. Really, you go to some delis, you get the one that looks like a hockey puck. You go to like a Pathmark or a Safeway, and you get a do they even exist anymore? You get the square ones that have like the little envelope edges. Those are the best though because you cut those in 4, you throw them in your toaster oven, you put that stuff on for 20 minutes, and it's crispy, delicious, golden heaven. And then I'm just going to throw a little, like, I know people don't like when people say the word vegan. I'm just going to say this, but there's a vegan thing that you can put on food called nutritional yeast, and people are like, oh, that's fucking gross. You throw that shit on a knish, fucking amazing. And it's remarkably healthy for you.
And then Dave says with mustard and onions. That's
you can't go wrong with that shit. Yeah, mustard and onions. You can dress the hell out of those things. They're amazing.
Yeah. Thomas, are you talking about Thursday the band? Because and they suck. I hope that's not what he means. It's like it sucks. Did you ever have a knish with Dr. Brown's cream soda?
Okay, here's the thing. I'm not a cream soda fan because I'm a firm believer that it's just carbonated Prel shampoo from 1983. But
I can see that.
I've had it with root beer, and they're kind of cousins.
Yeah.
But for some reason, cream soda just it doesn't work for me.
Cream soda with ice cream is kind of dangerous.
But you say yelled at all the time for not liking cream soda, so I guess I'm the odd man out.
Yeah, I mean, I can do a little bit of cream soda, not too much. Speaking vegan, how does that? You love cooking your own food, right?
Yeah, I love cooking. Yeah.
So it's another thing you could do. So, hold on, look what Dave Madison said. We can no longer be friends.
We have to start drinking cream soda.
Oh yeah, cream it up. So I love cooking my own food, and I think it's something like fast food is fast food. I try to stay away, but I'll dig into it here and there. But like just cooking and just putting my time into something. What's your quick, easy that vegan dish that's gonna make you put you in a good mood, but super simple? Like what's your favorite?
Oh, kimchi fried rice. I love kimchi fried rice. It's because it's 5 seconds. You get some leftover rice, you get some kimchi, you fry that stuff, you get some fake egg, you put that shit in there, and some soy sauce and some hot sauce. It's delicious. I like really savory, spicy stuff.
Yeah, I like last year by accident. I don't know how I don't know if it was advice or something, but I started just cooking with the potato, the onion, and the celery, just like a lot of my meals. And I just I don't even want to add too many things beyond that. Like I eat a lot more vegetables than I do.
Celery, you puree that potato, add some vegetable broth to it, boil the celery in that stuff, and you get like a nice celery potatoy soup, and it's
I love soups, man. I could do soups. I could really I love to eat me down in some soups.
You know what's funny? I love soup, but soup really is just wet food. You know what I'm saying? It's a very odd combination because it's just stuff you would eat someplace else with water on it.
Just blended, purified. Yeah, I'm drinking my shake right now. It's my soup of the day. I mean, some people have soups in the thermostat, so yeah. But I think for me, going to the movie theater and getting a cherry Coke, that's my thing. And if they don't have the cherry Coke, I get kind of I guess the Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's where it's at, but we all know Mr. Pibb is better. All right. Have you ever had Mr. Pibb?
I've had Mr. Pibb. I always thought it was more of the lower brand one. I thought Dr.
It is the lower brand one. Don't get it out, CJ.
I don't do the Mr. No, I know you're talking about Mr. Pibb. Man, they love soups. Libby and Matt do. Awesome. Hey, I will tell you though, 23 flavors is a lot in it for Dr. Pepper.
Well, that stuff was made by a pharmacist, and he was just he's like, yeah, let's just throw some cocaine in there. Let's throw some. I don't even know what's in there. It's I don't think there's really that many ingredients, because if there's that many ingredients to make cherry Coke with pepper in it, right? It's not that far off from cherry Coke.
And then when I go to the movies, my thing is I get the little if I go to the Regal, I like to get the Zap Pack. And the Zap Pack's just a little bit of Coke or a little bit of cherry Coke, a little bit of popcorn, fruit snacks, I think, a little bag, and that's it. But I like to go do that during the theater, during the previews, and after the previews are done, I put that to the side and just focus on the movie. Yeah. That's why I'm there.
Okay, you gotta say something. I do not. Okay, I have lots of weird OCDs. I do not eat at movie theaters. I cannot do it because I'm not there to eat. I'm there to watch a movie. It's a very odd thing that my brain does. I just I tend to just like to do the thing I'm there to do. It's sort of I don't know. I'll watch TV while I live alone, so it's I'll watch TV while I eat and stuff like that here. But going to a theater, I also I don't know. Again, let's just get into the mental health thing. Theaters are just fucking gross to me. They're nasty. It's a cushion filled with beer farts, and I don't know.
You can't go in shorts.
And have you ever just seen people lick their fingers and then touch? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's food by teenagers, which aren't the most hygienic of people.
But I'll say like, what do you call it? That would throw me off. I was gonna say something. Just the fact that like, oh, you can't wear shorts at movie theaters. That's gross. Like when you sit down, I did it like when I was a kid. I was like, I'll never do this again. But you know the thing about like the movie theater, I think that's what we have something in common. I'll do the popcorn thing before the movie, but like we have animal draft house where they have like beer and food. I don't eat like that's like when the waiter brings me my check. I'm like, oh, I know the movie's about to end. I don't really want.
I can't take the smell of chicken fingers during a fucking movie. I can't do it. And the other thing I can't take is that light they have right there.
Yeah, so you can put so I can see
flashlight that just ruins the entire fucking movie because I'm just like, oh look, there's a light. Oh look, there's a light. Oh look, there's a light. I don't know. What you can do, man.
They do have those little twitches. Let's see, we got Matt Staley up here saying cheer wine. So
what's cheer wine?
I don't know. He said cheer wine, I guess. Cheer wine. Or cheese wine, maybe. I don't know. Cheer wine. Matt, you're gonna have to clarify that a little bit. Greg Gonzalez says Mr. Pibb is healthier. It has 22 flavors.
Because, obviously.
Brandon Brooks, Wet Food, coming soon to the Food Network, hosted by Dan Scott and Guy Fieri. Hey, Guy Fieri is one of my favorite chefs.
Oh, I gotta eat. Get out.
No, I'm being serious. When you really,
he's the mayor of Flavortown.
okay, so he's got his fictional town that he is totally the mayor of, and the president, and the dictator. But dude, I saw an episode of him doing his show, like a Triple G, the grocery store game, where they go in his little grocery store, and he talks about competitions that he's done that in the past, and he brings them back. And they asked him, he go, what is his favorite vegetable to cook with? And he said onion. And when he said that, like I was like, really? And then he started describing the onion, and it's like guy style. So it's hey, I was you could cook with it, you can saute it, you can broil it, you can do everything, you can put it in soup. And he starts getting into it, and I was like, I'm gonna start cooking with onions. And I started cooking. I love onion. Onion is now my favorite thing to cook.
Onions before?
Well, I did. I had to learn. Huh?
You just learn cooking? Onions is like a staple. It's like you don't use garlic.
I don't ask questions until like, I learned about garlic. Well, see, the thing is, I worked with a fine dining chef for a very, very long time. And if I had questions, I'd ask, but I would just observe. So I was waiting tables, you're trying to crack jokes at the same time. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how she does it. Or she spent time with me. She would groom me a little bit and just kind of be like, did you try this out? Did you do this? How was the salmon? How's the wine? And I was like, it was actually really good. Thank you for asking. I didn't really know you could have a salmon with red wine. They're like, yeah, I saw the parrots. You just got to make sure. I was like, oh, awesome. But she helped me out in other shifts I've been around, but like I didn't know to really combine everything. Like I didn't.
It's I'm just giving the shit. That's what
I'm taking the shit. All right.
Is that like I don't know. I think that the bigger tragedy is that you made everyone sit through a Guy Fieri story. But still,
Oh, ouch. Oh, come on. He's still got the streaks. He's still got the blonde hair. He's gorgeous.
Didn't he sing for Smash Mouth? Oh, this is a really nice guy. I don't even fucking know. And and I just insulted the guy for Smash Mouth, who I know is definitely a nice guy because I've heard that guy.
Where's Schiaffo out with the zings? Damn, burning. All right, let's see. Thomas says, have you ever tried to sneak a condition to a movie theater?
Is that code word? No. Yes, I have. I have. No, I have not ever. Because how, the toaster oven, they see the cord,
The whole thing you bring in there. I gotta hide this in here. Look at this. Matt Staley said soda like Dr. Pepper. So cheer wine is a soda.
Really? I don't know. Is that like a regional thing?
I don't know. Maybe bootleg. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Now I have to find a way to get that from eBay and hope it's not poison.
Joe Ridgely, I'm a germaphobe. I prefer home theater.
Oh, you get me.
I'm see. Brandon E. Brooks, along with the hashtag the Indie Escape, we start one with the hashtag beer farts. He's on fire. Brandon's a comedian tonight.
Get on fire.
Cheer wine is a southern soda. Oh, well, I'll be damned. Because I'm in Texas and we're not considered the South.
Like, because I had a lot of family in North Carolina growing up, but it was always like Dr. Pepper cold out of the cooler, down there in like those glass bottles that I always loved.
Yeah, we could
learn a cheer wine. That's awesome. We're gonna check that out.
we go to Dallas and you can get the actual, I guess it's the original place they made Dr. Pepper, or Waco, where they made the Dr. Pepper, and that tastes different. Like a Mexican Coke in Mexico tastes way different than a Mexican Coke
Oh
in the States. And like when I tasted that Dr. Pepper, I was like, holy crap, this tastes like a little different. I didn't realize artificial could taste more like fresher.
yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit off-putting, but still delightful. Off-putting and delightful. Coming soon.
Look at That's like you both can wear your glasses backwards around your neck.
See, we're I'm telling you right now, man. We're gonna write the next huge film just out of this cast.
Oh God, yes. We already have everybody. We already have we definitely, it has a little sense of musical in it. Oh yeah, we do have quite the cast here. Cheerwine is from North Carolina.
Yeah, see, and I I was like outside of like Raleigh, Durham, and all that stuff, and I don't know, man. But I was also like 10, 11, and like it was like 1980 something.
Yeah.
So he went like 4 places.
Freaking Greg. But because Mexican Cokes have cocaine in it, CJ, maybe some onions too. You never know.
There you go.
I open up.
There you go.
I open up and look what happens. God, first time I saw Cheerwine was in Charlotte, North Carolina. Back in my day, I saw it in Charlotte, North Carolina with Mr. Joe Ridgely.
I don't like not knowing about things. This is very upsetting. Like now I have to like get this stuff. It's very bothersome.
After we're done with this, we're gonna see a bunch of posts. It's gonna be
Yeah.
Highway to the Danger Zone. Oh, the cooking zone. Dun, 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 dun. All right, Scott. Let me ask you this for movie purpose wise. What is your go-to movie when you're just in the slums and you just want to get pulled out?
Ed Wood. Ed Wood is a fine film about a lunatic. The performances, it's probably some of the most beautiful black and white ever shot. And then it's like right in my wheelhouse, like B movies and movies that are, I like movies that are bad instead of good. I'm all mixed up, So, yeah, Ed Wood is a fine film. Landau alone, then Murray and
Bela Lugosi, like, and then Bill Murray's character too. Like, we did that on our show side by side. We did Ed Wood, and we just we did Back Mask and Ed Wood, and we did Johnny Depp. And watching Ed Wood, I not only do I have like, you already have that respect for Tim Burton, but like you get like way more for him, like being able to go back and make a timepiece and have Johnny Depp play like just the movie alone, just to recreate that. But then you do have the character of Ed Wood portrayed by Johnny Depp, who like really has this like, all right, we'll do it, let's go, hey, take the shot, all right, we're good, one take. It's
worst movie you ever heard, worst movie you ever seen. My next one will be better.
Yes, but I gotta say that's one of those like also like Bowfinger a lot with Steve Martin, and it's about the behind the scenes. I love all that. Like it brings it in a little bit more for you to be like I don't know, like you said, like you can connect the dots and you can be like, oh, I'm figuring out how to hop over, or at least play Imagine in this time, so I can hang out, and Ed Wood, to me, I just like all those scenes. Like he does, and he's also going through something mentally,
Yeah, I mean, listen, that is first of all, if anyone's familiar with his actual story, it's a very it's a very involved story, and I mean, there's a lot more that happened to him, than that movie really lets on. But I mean, it's a story about finding yourself. It's about following your dream. It's about sexuality. It's about friendship. It's a movie that really hits all these amazing things that everybody feels. And even if you're not into film, it's very easy to latch on to at least one relationship in that movie. Ed's relationship with, Bill Murray's Bunny, or Ed's relationship with just like the way he deals with Lugosi, and I don't know. That movie for me is about understanding. That's what I really like about that movie. That is about a bunch of people that were exploited for something they did when they were always freaks, for lack of a better term. But then when, that exploitation runs out, there's still those same types of people trying to be who they are, and nobody wants it. And they find each other, and they build something new. And granted, they may be the worst movies of all time, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Plan 9 from Outer Space is a delight. And to say it is not good, technically, sure. But then again, I mean, most kids nowadays that are making films can't even shoot on real film. I mean, this was a guy picking up sticks, putting the camera down, actually getting the film exposed, well, sometimes, like it's, he was a complicated man, but he made some really, really crappy films that mean a lot to a lot of people,
Yeah. And then like Thomas, it's like also his addiction's a part of that. Bela Lugosi with the heroin.
Yeah.
And that is what you said right now. Perfect about like the fact that they still have value. They're still people, but the way the Hollywood doesn't need them or they're not selling. It's kind of a sick, sad thing. But you're right. They find each other. Life happens.
Studio execs and all the people that were studio execs in that movie were dicks.
Mm-hmm.
It was a them against us mentality. But the one thing that Ed Wood brought was he didn't really let the bullshit register. You know what I'm saying? He just kept showing up. And that the one thing I know about every time I've had any success is that it's just because I was with somebody a while ago, and we were talking about like why can we pull this off and other people can't pull this off, and we realized that it's about one thing. It's about asking hard questions. It's about getting in the room with the person you're scared to be in a room with. It's about and when you're dealing with people with mental illnesses, that becomes a minefield. Because I mean, you get the wrong answer and that can kill you for 10 years, or you get the right answer and you can become the world's biggest fucking drug addict, because everything worked out for you. So, it's a minefield for people. And when you're not, and you have the same trappings when you're not mentally ill or you have, but for me, I don't know, man, because, I've worked for a lot of big places, a lot of places on my own. And, the one thing I will say is the jobs I stuck with the most were where people cared about me. It's never been about the end product. It's always been about the doing. So if I'm doing stuff with people I like doing stuff with, the rest is gravy, as they say.
Yeah. And it's like, I have like the voice in the back of my head that no longer exists. I still have like those phantom, like, you're not gonna make it on time, you're not good enough. But then I realize you gotta like really like stop, and Brad's like, wait a minute, that's made up voice. Get the hell out of there. And it's like, it's not even there anymore. It's like, oh, I'm giving into nothing.
And the thing is that people think that we're doing anything different than they're doing, and it's just parsed differently. At least for me, like, I'm very similar to a lot of people. I may be more passionate, extreme at times, but I mean, my thoughts and emotions are the same thoughts and emotions everybody are having. I'm not going off to some weird tangent. I mean, my imagination land may be different, when it comes to like dreaming up things. But, my heartbreak is the same as your heartbreak. The only difference is that it's the difference between something having reverb when it's struck and something just going dead. You hit me, it's going to fucking ring. And it's just something you have to learn to sort of live with. And a movie like Ed Wood is just one of those movies where somebody just knew how to just didn't feel any of those ring outs.
Yeah. Well, it got what's up?
No, just admit that movie means a lot.
Yeah, and
best movie as far as I'm concerned.
Even Greg says that's right. Brandon E. Brooks says great film is Ed Wood, great cast. Even George, the Animal Steel, he's in it. I love it when he's in a movie. It's just very raw looking. Lost Highway is one of my favorites for Greg Gonzalez.
I'm a huge Lynch fan. The Happy Horror Holiday we just did. We do a lot of parodies of David Lynch in that because me, Matt, Libby, Thomas, everybody on that film was like a big David Lynch fan. The movie kind of opens up that way. I mean, David Lynch films are always a happy place for me. Because beautiful nightmares. And if there's one thing I love, it's a nightmare that I'm just in love with.
There you go.
Not, but just something that's got atmosphere and you don't know where you are, like it's, because I mean, I spend most of my life fucking, like, what the fuck is wrong with most people? To put yourself in a movie where, you're going to be safe is it's a much nicer feeling.
Yeah. So we got to do a little introduction to one of our new members we have here. So I got one more comment before I move on. Amen, brother. That's what Greg says about Mr. Meaney's comments. But we got a new Scotty in town.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to introduce Mr. Sorry, Scotty. I'm gonna have you come in because he told me his name and then he told me not to say it this way and now it's stuck in my head this way. Come in, Scotty.
Bussey.
Bussey.
There you go.
He said don't say it like Gary Busey. And then I was like, damn it, now it's stuck in my head. But like I said before, the only thing that can scare a Gary Busey is another scary Gary Busey. So thanks, Gary Busey.
For sure.
But welcome to the show, man.
Thanks. I mean, I caught quite a bit at the end there. That was it's very interesting. I like Scott. I really like your take on all of that stuff. I only saw Ed Wood once, and I regret that because I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. So it's really interesting to hear your take on it. And I would have to go back. I would love to go back and revisit, knowing kind of like just hearing your point of view of that. That was really cool. I like that.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, it's totally worth the rewatch. Yeah, it's an awesome movie. But tell us about your stage diving.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully maybe Scott will catch the X reference there. But yeah, the whole New York hardcore kind of symbol, and my friend Paul from the band Sterling did that for me. I'm from a band called The Spacing Effect, and we're not punk. We are more like an alternative rock kind of grunge kind of a sound. And from the band during the pandemic, I had this thing where I was just like, I love bands. I love music. I've always been in bands, always loved music. And I just had this thing where just like, why don't I just, people probably have never heard of like Mineral and Roadside Monument and Blenderhead and Sunny Day Real Estate or whatever. So I figured, why not just do little videos and just give suggestions to people, and I'll call it Stage Diving with Scotty, whatever. And part of that influence of starting that was being influenced by George C. Romero, I'm sorry, doing the Indie Brigade thing. And just like, he's doing about movies. Why don't I do about small bands or people that never heard of some of these people? Yeah. And so that's where it started. And all of a sudden one day I was on Facebook, and there's a Tooth and Nail podcast thing called The Labeled Podcast. And people were talking on there, and this guy named Paul from a band called Grandpa Loves Rhinos was talking about punk bands and Christian punk bands and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I like this band. I like this band. And all of a sudden it was just something I was like, why not just ask him to see if you'd come on, just chat about punk rock and about your journey. And that's the other thing is I'm always curious about people's journeys through their life, especially musicians. Like what brought you in, what influences you now, what were some of your experiences, just that kind of stuff. And so he agreed, and lo and behold, I just nerve-wrackingly did the first episode, and he was him and his brother were they're a band, and it's just two of them in the band, and we just had a great conversation. And that's the thing is I want it to be Stage Diving with Scotty, not necessarily an interview, but more of just a conversation. Because as an interviewer, I suck, but I love talking. And because I'm also in a two-man band, we don't tour or do gigs or anything. So I kind of miss that camaraderie of being, beforehand, talking before the shows and then after the shows. And dude, that was a great set, just kind of building those friendships of these bands. And so since I can't do that, or I'm not doing that, this is the next best thing. So I just started doing that, and it became one after another. And I was like, well, why not ask this person? Just start getting, all of a sudden just kind of built my lack of confidence, because I've always struggled with deep depression back in the day, super depression. So a lot of it was insecurity and all that kind of stuff, but somehow it was just bringing it out of me. And I just said, screw it, I'm just going to ask people. And so I just started asking like Chris Simpson from Mineral and Mountain Time. And I've asked Billy Power from Blenderhead has kind of sort of been talking with me. We're trying to get something going. I asked Jonathan Ford from Unwed Sailor, which is Roadside Monument, and he said yes, and I had him on the show. And it was just such a huge thing for me to ask those guys. But as much as that was, a huge step forward for me, I think the idea of just getting these bands that, again, even bands nowadays, was just like, why not just help these people out and give them another, even though it's just a little teeny show, it's just one more place that these people can be heard. Or maybe these people have never had that chance. So maybe I can be their first one to say their name out loud and on the socials and that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, there's been a few of these people, like Penny Board. She's getting really popular right now. And I was their first their first talk or interview, whatever you want to call it, and and that was such a fantastic talk, and that's taking off, and then just a few other people, and it's been just one heck of a fun ride of just being there for these people, and now I'm just at a point where I'm posting their flyers of their upcoming shows, any band shirts, all that kind of stuff, just to kind of promote the hell out of them, because that's what I wanted when I was younger. I was always searching and trying to get our names out there and trying to do this, try to do that. And it was always such a struggle. And nowadays it's even more of a struggle, but at least there's some sort of, all these socials for people to, you can't have enough, as all I'm pretty much trying to say in the long run. But
that's the great thing about this, the whole social media thing, is that if you approach it with trying to conquer the world and becoming like the next big band, you have a small chance, I guess, but you can find your niche. You can find your audience, I mean, there used to be a time, like when I was growing up in bands, like you'd play like the Rock Palace or one of these places on the island, and, 13 people would show up, and that's who showed up, like that was it. That was your audience, and then, you grew it. You had and if you stayed together for 3 or 4 years, you could grow your following. But now it's easier sometimes even to keep a band together that way, because people don't burn out. With, nobody's coming to our shows. No, like it feels like you're doing something, which, I think is important, because as much as we know we're doing something, I think everyone here is an artist, and we realize that, like, we don't really feel it because we're doing it. We feel it on this emotional Viewmaster seeing through our eyes level, but it's not like watching a movie. It's, you take 90% of it for fucking granted.
Yeah.
So, and I think that with things like social media, if it's used correctly, and you just try to be realistic about things, you can build something beautiful, with very little work, just finding some good people.
Oh yeah, and that's what's been really cool about it too, is seeing. For me, this isn't about being a YouTuber. This isn't about any of that crap at all. I'm the whole dream of fame kind of thing was way in the past, and I'm glad I outgrew that. And it really is about the friendships I'm making. It's about the good music I'm finding too, because there's nothing more satisfying than finding a new band and then hearing a new song going, holy crap, that's awesome. Or even if it's something kind of generic can be good too. And that's fine. And that's what's so much fun too, is just, again, it's everything from that I'm finding is from like a lot of punk rock lately, a lot of great metal. There's some good emo bands that are coming out, but it's the emo that I grew up. I guess it's called elder emo now.
Like with MIM and Get Up Kids, like that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about, Scott. Yeah. That's the stuff that I grew up on. Again, Sunny Day Real Estate is my favorite band of all time. And yeah, that to me, that was the emo that touched me. And then I know, like, there's the modern emo, like, My Chemical Romance and Thursday and The Used and that kind of stuff, which is still pretty cool. And I dig some of that stuff. But for me, it was the old school emo that really rocked my world, and it just changed my life. Yeah. But there's new, again, like one of the band I said earlier, Sterling, they're like a modern emo band, and I love them to death. I can't get enough of them. And their new album's out, and it's picking up speed, and they're getting a lot of touring with all these bands, getting tons of gigs again. And it's like, man, I miss this stuff. And I'm glad they're getting so much, not just them, but I mean, like in general, it's all these bands that I try to promote and push and stuff. Everybody's just getting gig after gig after gig. And it's like, yes, this is happening again. Screw the pandemic, man. Everybody's jumping back in again. And it's so exciting. So exciting.
I think, that's about, that's a really good point, is that, like, people are, I mean, it's slow going, but the people who are jumping back in are jumping back in.
Oh yeah. Like, it's really encouraging. It really is. And plus what's so cool too is the interaction with other people as well, as far as like we had, like, I'm friends with a couple of bands. We're in a group, like a Facebook Messenger group thing. And one day one of us were just like, hey, who wants to sing on this song, or want to exchange a song and kind of just collaborate a little bit. And we had Micah Smith from Empty Atlas sing on a Spacing Effects song, and his voice is just angelic. And and Empty Atlas themselves are just an amazing band. And so it was a real pleasure to have him sing on that song, and it was a meaningful song for me. It's one of the biggest songs for me, and he took it home and just really made that song beautiful. But yeah, it's just so cool how so many people will just be like, yeah, let's sing on this song, or here, I got a guitar riff, let me just show it to you and see what you think and see what you can do with it. So it's just really cool to see this unity amongst musicians and collaborative work. That could be some really cool music ahead of time, but it's just really fun to just be talking with people and interacting with people more days, and just being so open about their journeys and then their struggles. And then again, and just helping them out, just getting their names out there too.
Yeah. And this is what the Indie Escape's all about. You'll find your niche, you'll find your pocket, you'll find your cubby, you'll find wherever you need, because it's just a bunch of like independent people, a bunch of creatives. It just happens to have we just happen to have people like Scott Meaney and Scott Schiaffo, and they're like musicians and actors and writers and all. So we have other, we just have interview shows. We have other things like, my show is just, you're on it. You're in my vlog,
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's cool that we're just here to support and help each other out. And one thing I opened up to that I never really was open up to until I guess more 2019-ish, 2018-ish was online friendships like this. I just thought that I was like, this is kind of weird to for me to get comfortable.
It's still fucking weird for me, man.
It is, yeah. I like to. I'm
collecting friends like trading cards, and I still understand it 90% of the time.
Yeah, it's to me, it's I've had a hard time, but now I'm with the guys and with the team, I've been able to really be oh, okay, cool. Watch, we can personalities starting to come. I'm oh, they're gonna say this or this is gonna happen, but I like that it's I'm still able to do that, where I never thought I would have online friends or just digital friends where, like you said, we're all a bunch of NFTs just waiting to pop up, yeah. So
True.
Who knows?
I mean, even Brandon right here, he's watching, and welcome to the Indie Escape family, Scott. Looking forward to checking out your show. So
thank you, Brandon.
I owe you on Fridays, man. It's that's what we're all here. We're here to help out. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to this, because you're right, and the aspect of it seems kind of it's just I'm just talking about bands or talking about music. It's going to be a big deal, but there are other people that want to have these conversations, and there are other people that, and they just don't really know. And then once you give them a target, time will pass, and they'll be like, I don't. They haven't talked about a band that I like, but I need to get in there, so I'm gonna listen to these upcoming bands, and then they'll eventually come around. And I think it's true. And also, I think what happened to me was the little guy effect, where I was just kind of feeling you can never really grow past that. They don't want. There's a certain bubble that I guess the Hollywood movies, the big blockbusters that they want to keep up there, and it just was whatever. A movie's a movie. If you can tell a story, you can get it. And that's what I've learned from Scott Meaney. It doesn't. If you should be able to tell your idea or your concept, you should be able just to get it moving enough that it picks up speed on its own. And I lived. I also, we'll find out more as the show goes on, as the other episodes come in. But I lived at a hotel for 6 months. It was just a random apartment thing. Didn't work out, so they had to put us somewhere, and they put us at the Drury Inn, which is right off the main strip, I-35. And they would I was kind of just chilling at the time, so I had a lot of time off. And what do you call it? I noticed they had speakers at the bottom of the rooms. They had these speakers come in, and I could walk in for free. So I'll just walk in and check them out. And one time it was a guy. He was giving a motivational speech on business and on entrepreneurship. And this is in 2007, 2008. And I'm here in Austin, Texas. And the guy, there's only 8 of us in there. And after a while, I was only the guy kind of looking at him. He just kind of started focusing on me. And he told me something that just buried it into my head. And I'm okay. And that's kind of what kind of really got me back into filmmaking, because I'd taken a 6-year hiatus. But what he said was, he's and you can start a business. And if you, whatever idea you have, what, sir, over there, what is your idea? You want to start a car wash business? Go start your car wash. All you need is a brush, water, and soap. You know what? It rains. You're already halfway there. You, sir. And it was but he was it was you could see him. He didn't know what he was doing, but he was figuring it out. Finally, he came to me, and he was waiting. And he goes, you right there. What's your business? And I go, I don't got one. No. What's your business? So I was I don't know. I don't have a business. He goes,
your wine.
He goes, yeah, you're in the business. He goes, he goes, you should be able to start a business with the stuff you have on you right now. Whatever you have in your pocket, that is enough to get you started. And I was kind of well, I actually do have a couple $100. So, but he was the concept was you have them. It doesn't matter. You already have it. You're good enough. There's no, you can't do it, or there's no, someone's better than you, or
you just make stuff that you like, and if other people like it, that's great. And the thing is, that sounds like some meta weird thing, but you make enough stuff, you can't be ignored. You know, you keep
Yeah.
showing up, people recognize you're there. You just do it. Like with me, like I didn't do some, I mean, I jumped around from job to job, but dude, I've worked in every industry. So it's not like I just went through one industry. You know, it was just because I just showed up. I did the work. I paid attention. You know, I asked the hard questions, you know. It's, I don't know, man. You could, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing a movie you make, CJ. That's
I'm ready. I mean, I will say this. I'll leave this, Scotty. So Scott Schiaffo and Scott Meaney made this book 10, 11 years ago, and it got to me last year.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that they did make this. It's Scott Schiaffo's like memoirs. It's like when he was going through a hard time. He has his ideas here and his little poems here, and you know, it's just one of those things that it took this long to get to me, and I have it, and now I'm just grateful for them to dig. So now that's what I'm kind of like in my head, like you have to just start making something now because you don't know where it's gonna trickle.
Do it. Don't worry if you have the money. Don't worry if people are gonna watch it. Don't worry if it's good. Just do it. You know, like just have something. Always try to make something you want to watch in 10 years with your family or with your friends. That's really, I mean, same thing with music, same thing with art. You know, I mean, you know, you can swing for those expensive seats with the people with the deep pockets, but 9 out of 10 times you're going to end up with a piece you don't like that doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Just go for the piece you like. You do that for 45 years, someone eventually pays attention.
Well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just gonna say that's just one mentality I've had as I get older and stuff too. I'm just like, I'm just gonna do something I enjoy. And again, that's what kind of pushed me as well. Was just like, let's just see what happens. I don't care. Like I never thought, you know, even I would even reach like 100 followers or anything. So when I'm over 700 now, almost 2 years later. And to me, it wasn't even like, oh, 700, I'm a success or whatever. It was just like, wow, that's just, these people are actually just, you know, enjoying the interaction and people are enjoying what this is. And again, I don't even know still what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I love and I don't care. And again, and I, even if they just dropped after, you know, went back to 200 or even 50, or if it's just my family, I don't care because I'm enjoying doing what I love. And it is talking to other bands and it is giving these people a chance to be heard a little more. So yeah, anyways, that's just me.
Thank you for being part of the team, man, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to your
look
show.
Forward to it, man. Really look forward to it. I just, you know, we just spoke tonight. You're an awesome dude.
Yeah, you're cool, Scott. I dig it, man. You're a character. I love it, dude.
Yeah, so you came in on a good episode. He made this episode look real easy for me. He made it. He got it good. So I don't have to try. So I don't have to put too hard of an effort. So we'll see. But Scotty, welcome aboard, and we'll see you in the future. Man, I'm gonna drop you down.
All right, guys. See you. Have a good
night.
See,
Awesome.
it was awesome. Libby McDermott said Conrad Brooks in Plant 9.
Yeah, do you know this about in Darkness Waits? We were talking about Ed Wood before, and Conrad Brooks, who is a very big part of the Ed Wood repertoire, is actually in Darkness Waits.
He's in the hospital. He's
laying. Well, he was actually I think kind of close to the end of his life at that time.
Deathbed, yeah.
You know, I don't want to really retell her story because I don't want to get facts wrong, but you know, it's just amazing. And you know, here I am. You know, I mean, I you know, I didn't work on Darkness Waits, but like, you know, here are two people that are in Pennsylvania that are into like this sort of Ed Woody thing that, you know, kind of come down for a movie that I'm making. And then there's these, you know, it's just like how people, I don't know how we found each other. Like I said, this was an accident. Schiaffo was going to their premiere. I decided to kind of, you know, just jump in and tag along, go to the premiere. We all hit it off. It was a nice evening, you know, you know, but yeah, Conrad Brooks, man, that's just the coolest freaking thing, you know?
That's awesome.
That's a celebrity to me. You know, like I'm not Mr. You know, I like B-movie stars. I like writers and authors and artists, you know, like Sandra Bullock. I mean, she's pretty and stuff, but like, you know, she makes some good movies, but I'm not going to get struck. Like Conrad Brooks, who probably like, a lot of people around today won't know who he is. Just, you know, those people blow my doors off because again, those were people that were doing it and they weren't even making money. They were just doing it because they fucking love doing it. And I don't know, man. There's just something that gets hit inside of me that when I'm watching like B movies, I'm just like, this was just people having fun. Or I mean, not all of them, but like, you know, Ed Wood is I mean, granted he went a little, but you know.
But
Yeah.
just just his techniques didn't matter. His style didn't matter. Just make a damn movie.
Just
That's
do it.
what. That's why. Yeah, just make a damn movie.
Persistence without being annoying.
Yes, exactly. And then Brendan Brooks, fear is an illusion created by our insecurities that we need to overcome. Great show so far, guys. Thanks. Yeah, we're coming down to the end. Let's see what Joe Ridgely. I can't wait for the Engelbert I can't say that word. Humperdinck episode.
Yes.
I have no idea who that is.
He's Joe's favorite musician. Joe has a Engelbert Humperdinck tattoo on his back.
Okay.
He's a listening singer. I worked for like 20 years in music stores.
Matt Staley, he was also the bartender in Ed Wood.
Yeah.
And then here goes Ray. There are no accidents.
It's true.
Well,
there are, but
yeah,
we just talk about those.
We love those accidents, though. So we already, I don't know. Like I said, I could talk to you forever, brother. But I think we should be winding down because it's getting a little late. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're kind of not big on the social, so I'm not going to bother you with where people can find you.
Just Artist Got Me. I think it's either The Artist Got Me or Artist Got Me. I've changed it so many times on Instagram. That's the best way. Nobody wants to be a part of my personal Facebook. It is just me ranting and being and some jokes, I guess, and some art, I guess.
Yeah.
And just I just want to say happy horror holiday, spectacular. We're actually we had the premiere on Indiescape, and we're actually going to release it free for everyone to watch on YouTube whenever they want, because we just want people to see it, and that we're going to have an announcement about that, and you should be able to find that on the Indiescape as well as its own YouTube channel pretty soon. But that's the big thing right now is happy horror holiday, spectacular. And Afterlive tonight, the puppet talk show that I'm doing, which is based off of that film, where it's a live puppet talk show with a very odd story built in, where we two dead puppets talk to live guests that are in human form, and we try to steal their soul to escape from the planet of the dead. Dun dun dun.
The dead puppets, dead Meaney. That's what.
If I didn't say that, I would have been like, I did like an hour and a half interview, and I didn't even fucking say why I was there. I'm here for you, but you know what I'm saying? I would have just kind of
we talk, but that's what we do. We hang out. Let's say, never mind. Sorry, I don't know. I did that. I have a bad tendency lately to do that. I always keep my phone down. But I'm gonna let you go because I know, like I said, it's always a pleasure talking to you. It's always like just able you kind of clear things up a lot. Like you do. You really clear a lot of things up for me when we have our conversations. It's such a great just like a great release, like to be like, all right, that like he gets me. And then when we worked each other, you're like in my head, and I was like, how the hell is he?
Graphics. CJ did the graphics for Happy Horror Holiday Spectacular.
Yeah, thank you. I love that I got to be part of that, and like you were saying about like B people, B-roll movies or whatever. Like it takes it's a giant gears that move, and it doesn't matter if you get paid to do it. You got to move them, and you do. I tend to appreciate someone that. They don't understand maybe the idea of the set, but they'll show up and they'll listen. And that to me, that helps me way more than someone that's like, I already know what I'm doing. And it's weird.
People wanting to be there is so much more important than talent.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and explain that.
I said, last night when we had a rehearsal, it was just an hour long for the show we're doing tomorrow night. And they said, we really appreciate you being here. Like, honestly. And I was like, yeah, I want to be here, guys. You're not forcing me to be here. Like, this is, I choose to be here because, I love being around you guys. It's fun, and I'm learning, and it's just a great way to be expressive. I never realized that I was going to, like, hold on to theater with that passion. It never died out in me. It never let it, it just kind of paused, but now that back onto it, it's like, oh, awesome. But speaking about awesome, Brandon E. Brooks, awesome show, gentlemen. You guys rock. And this is why the episode was titled Awesome, because you're awesome, Scott. So
thank you, man. I don't know. The jury's still out on that. But,
we'll play some music on the exit. I kind of like that we can do a little pop music.
Oh yeah.
I want to see the Scott Muppet or Puppet dance to see how when he breaks dance. But everybody, thank you for coming and hanging out with Scott and I on My Manic Mondayz, episode 13. Awesome. So y'all have a good night, and everybody take care. Peace.
Good night.